Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to Akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Romans chapter 10, verse 18. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. And this is speaking of the prophets of the Most High, chiefly GMS or Great Millstone. And Great Millstone has gone global. You've got GMS camps in North America, GMS camps in South America, in the United Kingdom, in Holland, in Germany, in Africa, in Romania, in the Philippines, you name it. And that's just the camps we know about. There are plenty of camps out there we don't even know about. I've heard about Israelites preaching in China, for instance. And the way that the men of the Lord have been able to spread this word unto the ends of the world is through that unicorn, the internet. And the sole reason for the internet's creation was for the men of the Lord to use it and to wake up the rest of the elect. This is Psalm chapter 19. I will read verse 1 through 4. The heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork, speaking of those satellites beaming the internet signals to the ends of the earth. Verse 2, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. There's not 1 hour in the day where a brother is not posting a video as we speak. A brother's either posting a video right now or making one. Verse 3, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Not just is this word being preached in English, but in other languages as well. Spanish, German, Romanian, you name it. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. And with their line going out through the earth and their words to the end of the world, it's bringing about the end of the current system of things, chiefly the rulership of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. That's why you're seeing their birth rates decline, their economies on the verge of collapse, and these Edomites just bugging out in general. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations through that unicorn, the internet, and then shall the end come. Not only are you seeing Esau Edom's system fall apart, but you're seeing all these other end times prophecies begin to come to their fulfillment. Nations beginning to rise against nations, or those racial tensions building up. Kingdoms beginning to rise against kingdoms, or these major countries going against each other, such as the U.S.-China trade war, the state of Israel against Iran, the U.S. against Russia, etc., etc. These pestilences, these famines, these wars and rumors of wars, and of course, the mandatory implementation of the mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant. With each passing day, we're getting closer and closer to that inevitable end. And with all this being the case, that's why you're seeing all these internet censorship bills begin to come up, because the powers that be understand the scriptures and know that when the men of the Lord are out there on the highways and byways preaching this word and now putting up videos on the internet, that whatever kingdom's rolling at the time is going to come to an end. And the elites, these Rothschilds, these Rockefellers, you name it, are scared because they know they're Edomites, and they know the end of the Edomites, that they're going to go into 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery before their permanent eradication. And of course they don't want that. That's why you're seeing all these things get passed, like ACTA 2 in Europe, a rolling back of net neutrality in the US, among other censorship bills. And also a couple of months ago, YouTube said they were going to start cracking down on so-called white supremacist content, but then later on that week, a bunch of brothers reported that videos started getting taken down from their pages because they violated YouTube's community guidelines. So we're getting closer and closer to the famine of the word, where they're going to take our videos off the internet and then eventually come after us on the highways and byways to take us off. But it's too late. This word's already gone to the ends of the earth. That's why you're seeing this end manifest right before your eyes. And in this video, I'm going to be dealing with more internet censorship coming, targeting the men of the Lord, this time in Canada. This is an article from ZeroHedge.com titled "Killing Free Speech in Canada." And as far as I know, there are two GMS camps in Canada, GMS Toronto and GMS Winnipeg Prophets, putting that work to you heathens and further bringing about this end. In May, Canada launched a so-called digital charter meant to promote trust in a digital world. The charter contains 10 principles, 3 of which deal with hate speech and disinformation. The charter said Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will target so-called fake news and so-called hate speech online. The platforms are failing their users and they're failing our citizens, he said. They have to step up in a major way to counter disinformation. And if they don't, we will hold them to account and there will be meaningful financial consequences. The government of Canada, the charter says, will defend freedom of expression and protect against online threats and disinformation designed to undermine the integrity of elections and democratic institutions. Canadians can expect the digital platforms will not foster or disseminate hate, violent extremism, or criminal content. There will be clear, meaningful penalties, it adds, for violations of the laws and regulations that support these principles. As has become standard in such cases, the charter contains no definition of what constitutes hate, so pretty much it's at the discretion of the powers that be, making it a catch-all for whatever the Canadian government deems politically inopportune, such as the men of the Lord out there preaching this word, bringing about the end of society as we know it. This is all exhaustingly familiar by now. Germany already has legislation that requires social media platforms to censor their users, and I recently read an article on how in Austria there is a politician who got the government to get Facebook to take down posts that were negative towards her. And not only did they take it down in Austria, but they were able to get that content taken down if it was reposted to a Facebook in another country as well. And we can see how that sets a very dangerous precedent. A brother could talk about a politician or somebody else, calling them an Edomite or a devil, or revealing some corrupt things that they've done. And if that person got offended, they could get that content taken down. Social media companies are obliged to delete or block any online criminal offenses within 24 hours of receipt of a user complaint. The German government can fine them up to 50 million euros for failing to comply with the law. France is working on it. The digital charter was launched the week after Canada signed the Christchurch call to action, yet another government-led drive for more censorship in the name of fighting terrorist and violent extremist content online. And what does the Southern Poverty Law Center call the Hebrew Israelites? Black identity extremists, the Black Hebrew Israelites, a black nationalist hate group. The authorities in Canada could see that and say, look, we have one of those Israelite camps in our country. It's one of those GMS groups. We need to take them down. They're violent extremist content inciting people to hate. Canada already has hate speech laws in its criminal code, according to which anyone who publicly on the highways and byways incites or willfully promotes hatred against any identifiable group commits an indictable offense. The identifiable group includes any section of the public distinguished by color, race, religion, national or ethnic origin, age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or mental or physical disability. And we pretty much cover all these things when we go out there and preach. This just goes to show that the Most High is protecting us, because by this criminal code, those brothers in Canada should have been taken out by now, but they still have work to do. Section 318 prohibits advocating or promoting genocide, and you could easily see how they could misconstrue our words to say that we're promoting genocide, since we say that the Edomites are going to go into 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery before their permanent eradication. To some, however, the criminal code on hate speech is apparently not enough. In June, The House of Commons Standing Committee on Justice and Human Rights, in a report titled Taking Action to End Online Hate, recommended that the Canadian government establish a civil remedy for those who claim that their human rights have been violated. After hearing a large number of witnesses, the majority of the committee suggested that Section 13 of the Canadian Human Rights Act, or something similar to it, be reinstated. Section 13 was a very controversial provision repealed in 2013 under the Stephen Harper government after being criticized by free speech advocates for enabling censorship on the internet. Section 13 states that it was discriminatory for people to communicate via computer or on the internet any matter that is likely to expose a person or persons to hatred or contempt by reasons of the fact that the person or those persons are identifiable on the basis of a prohibited ground of discrimination. So as you brothers can see, just another example of the coming online censorship, the coming famine of the word. So you should be drinking as much from these rivers of living waters while you still can. And now I'm going to close it out in Amos chapter 8, verse 11 through 13. Behold, the days come, which are quickly coming upon us, saying the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh, the famine of the word, where we're no longer going to be able to preach on the highways and byways, and our content's going to be taken off the internet. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. You scoffers who refused to acknowledge that you were Israelites, or that this was the truth, and you continued to talk shit about this word. In this day, when all hell's befallen you, the Most High is going to put it on your spirit to remember what the Most High told you through his men, and you're going to look for us, but you won't be able to find us, so you're going to have to take whatever comes your way during Jacob's trouble. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim are edified. And as always, I'm going to say Abba Ball, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.